I think we've spoken about what some of these people are doing. Some mentioned something about looking at the UX behind these whole notifications, and that was what I was talking about. Copy. There's this app. I've forgotten the English they use. But yeah, you realize that these applications personalize this kind of messages with their whole notifications, going to things like email notifications where they structure it in a way that you are triggered. You want to see whatever is in place. And then it's also tied to what Jeffrey was talking about with the whole investment thing where you produce the content. You want to see if people like it or not. Let's be honest, it makes you happy that, oh, you produce the video and then hundreds of people are liking it and should be sharing it and all that. So let's talk about the UX behind it, some of the copy, how these people are putting their message out there to get users hooked.
So you see how you are talking about social media right now, right? And then everyone knows social media to be very fun, distracting, nothing serious. But see, from what we discussed earlier, right, you can see the amount of work that goes into designing all these platforms, right? From them finding a trigger that will keep you coming back to copy for notifications and whatever. Everything is very intentional when it comes to the design of these platforms, but kind of goes unnoticed a lot because they are just in there to have your fun.
Yeah, I mean, that one they're very, very true. People feel like they just designed it out, but then there's work done. I mean, even with the layouts and how, I don't know if any of you remember when Instagram was doing their whole A/B test where everybody had different navigations. Even on the same mobile application with 3 different accounts, they had different navigations with your notifications at the top, some at the bottom. They are all designed in such a way that it makes things easy for you. What I can't realize is here, right now they keep the notifications for the top, they're close to the DM. You go your DM side and you enter notifications, and that's how you'll be seeing your likes and things. But yeah, let's talk about copy and the UX behind this whole notification thing.
So ASOS, I don't know if you guys know of ASOS, but it's an e-commerce app. I think they are based in the UK or something.
Oh, yeah.
I just copy a few things from them, and then like I don't go there in a while, right? And then if you did that, no, then they will drop some discounts. I'm saying they will talk something, some and they'll call you when somewhere like 80% discount, bro. And the way they craft the copy, it will make you think like it's actually all the products are 80%, but it's actually up to 80%. So you know, be all the products will be 80%, right? Some like 15, some like 10, some like 3%, whatever, right? So we see actually this thing, okay, make a check. That means I get some things in my cart, right? Like my wish list, some of them be out of stock, some of them whatever. I just go into the app, just go through a few things. Oh, this doesn't make sense. The price makes sense. Add them to my wish list, add them to my cart. Then sometimes I check out, sometimes I don't, right? So the ones that I don't know, you did that now, then they automatically clear the cart to move it to the wish list. So if you did that, you forget about themselves. Then you will see say them drop. Okay, Sam, this whatever it is you are looking for, it has been moved to your wish list, right? So this is another way of them reminding you, Charlie, boss, we do. If you forget, we did. So you do. I can't pass through. So I think it's something very interesting. And also, if an item you put in your cart or your wish list is out of stock and it comes back in stock, you can it's set to be notified. If it comes back in stock, then we'll send you notification. So all these are triggers that gets you to go into the app and then take actions. And then once you get into the app, you have already spoken about the things in the app that keeps you hooked, so you stay for longer.
Yeah, I mean this copy thing. I mean the day I saw it actually told me a lot because I mean you have on the other end you have some apps that are only sending you notifications when there's an activity. Maybe someone liked your let's use social media. Maybe someone liked your post or shared whatever. But then there are other applications like the e-commerce you're talking about. Even when there's no activity, right? They are pushing the notification over to you, and then again, it ties to the point where we're talking about turning off notifications if you don't want this distraction and like them. I want to read this line from the website I dropped in the chat there. It says that the technology that connects us also monetizes. It was this documentary, and it was also amazing. If you watch it, you kind of they spoke about Facebook, Instagram, and all that, and similar to what we're talking about here, how everything they are doing is tied to monetization and manipulating people. I mean, based off the whole suggestion thing and all that. But yeah, back to copy. I had to say that. Back to copy. Yeah. So you realize that they are pushing notifications to you even when you are not performing in the activity. And if some apps, even e-commerce apps, can kind of pick up things like this, I feel like it's very, very, very interesting. In as much as it'd be annoying sometimes, but you realize that I was getting some. Then he did see 80% discounts. He will open the platform and then check whatever it is. So that's one way. I mean, if we are looking at probably maybe notifications to kind of get people in there, and also the copy. They are English there, Charlie. Whoever they write these UX messages for these platforms, then they do well, because I'm sure it'll be girls, females there, like Jeffrey woman.
Hey, why you being sexist? Hey,
No,
you
boys,
don't do
boys,
that one,
boys,
yo.
boys. Oh, my friend, boys. My friend is a romantic message when I was in my chair.
You will do something they can call for you. It be true one, but
If it's true. Jeffrey do like you don't hear what I talk. Say especially in woman, but let's continue.
me, I know where you take pass. I know where you take pass.
Yeah, so I love. What do you have anything to say about copy? You people, so it be like you plan say you go do myself.
I mean, last week, your mouth come, get around your mouth. Today, you did it, you keep quiet.
I beg, senior pastor, you get anything to talk about copy, notifications, this whole UX messaging, and it doesn't have to necessarily be social media.
So yeah, I mean, copy is still like tied to UX. So if you want the experience to be better, your copy needs to also be better. So you have instances where sometimes it's an error message, but because of the copy, it sounds like you are the problem, not them. You get it. Sometimes you writing a copy in such a way where it's more like you are blaming the person using the platform. It can kind of like stop the person from using it. You get it. Plus, also, I think one thing recently I noticed is IG, where when you save a particular audio from a reel, they will be like, they will send you a notification that this reel has been used by blah blah blah. They make it look like it's trending and you are missing out on like a lot. So hop onto it. So in a way, they are forcing you, not forcing, but they are kind of like manipulating in a way to create a reel and use that particular thing, right? So copy plays a very very like important role in design. Sometimes as designers, most designers that I know of, like most of them, they don't really consider copywriting because they feel like, oh, this one they left give their copywriter, like they need. But you hacking that skill to it can really like really elevate your design. Because imagine you crafting like notification, for instance. With notification, you have just a small column to write your message, so you need to like make sure, say, Charlie, you hit on the spot. You need to also be mindful of the audience, at the same time making sure you're on brand too as well, because sometimes you need to consider your brand messaging, I mean your brand voice too as well. So like incorporating all these things, you need to like, I don't know why sometimes you have to like emphasize on the importance of copy, but I feel like it also plays a critical role in design too. So yeah, media I feel say it need in terms of the hooking, whatever. It also plays a vital role in that.
Thank you. Guess pastor say you want to say something. Sam.
Yeah, I mean, what Jeff said just what might tell you something that I also noticed on LinkedIn. Which is if you did it and go say, you see, this person gained this number of connections and things. At first, I was like, yo, why you did tell me this? You go in network to make her do what? Yeah, but I mean, I began to realize that, I mean, what do we know LinkedIn for? It's about networking and connecting with other professionals, right? So that's like their way of also getting you to gain the value that they need you to get. Because the more you connect with people, the more you probably meet someone who will link you to a job or something, and then you find value from LinkedIn, right? So, and then once you find the value, the more you are most likely to keep using LinkedIn. So it'd be very good. And also the audio thing we Jeff mentioned about like you feeling like you're missing out if you're not using an audio you saved, because I think there are like time spans within where an audio is very viral. So once you post the content using that audio, the probability of that content also like gaining traction is very high. So that'd be very good. That'd be one good thing. But one thing I wanted to say, the main thing I want to say about Instagram, especially, and their notifications and the copying there. You did there, or then they'll send you this person posted this person posted that. So what that thing does, and I think I don't know if you've already spoken about it, but it induces like FOMO, the fear of missing out, right? And that runs through, that's like one of the major things that runs through every social media app, right? People want to be connected. People want to feel like, yeah, they're involved in things, right? And so if you, especially Twitter, if you go to Twitter, people, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, like sharing your work and everything, but people just want to talk something. Or similar to the example Michael gave in the beginning. Somebody go barber shop, there's something, they connect to something, you just want to talk. Just so, I mean, he feels like he's also doing something, right? And once other people see it, they also feel like, okay, they are involved in this person's life. So, for example, if your friend, say, make you go some potty, and you say you won't go, and then in day house, probably you are probably fine. You are watching your Netflix movie or something. You are fine. You are nothing is happening to you, and then you get a notification that this person has posted something on your story. Automatically, they induce FOMO in your mind. You'll be like, oh shit, I should have gone to this, I should have gone to that. And even, especially if you go check and it's them like having a good time at the party, to make you sort of feel some way. I mean, to make some people feel some way, right, about them missing out on the party or whatever. And so they most likely want to go next time and feel involved and also come and post stories and reels and whatever on the app. So those are some of the things that we should keep in mind.
Yeah, very true. The whole LinkedIn notification thing. I mean, I've experienced it before. The notification game is actually top notch because you go send notifications about everything, about articles people have posted, about news, about. And sometimes he gets you hooked because it's very, very interesting.
Like some men just touch on most of the things, right? But then I think I just want to cite like a few places where we to see some nice example of copy being applied. So for example, for Pinterest, for example, right? If so what Pinterest does is that you can save someone's post onto your board, right? And then someone else can come and like or save what you saved, right? So when you do that, when that whole process of someone saving your content, right, they send you a notification saying that you've got good taste, right? So that's like literally the headline, you've got good taste. And that someone has saved XYZ content. As soon as you see that, what comes to mind is you want to go and see what was saved, right? And then when you go there, most likely they will like suggest more of that content to you, and then it's like you just keep adding more and more. So that one too is another form that they use their copy to draw you in, and I think they do something similar to based on your interest, where they send you notifications based on something that you checked out maybe 2 weeks ago or something, right? So for them, that's usually what they do, just giving you suggestions based on the things that you've done, and then they are just using they craft the copy very nicely to get you enticed, right? And just like Sam and Jeff said, it's something that a lot of us ignore, especially when we are designing these platforms, because you think once the platform is working, people will be hooked. But then we always ignore the small parts here and there that make the entire experience enjoyable. I beg, guest pastor, I hand over to you.
Yeah, so it came to mind right now. So this notifications we are talking about, you see how it's like a lot of thought goes into it, even from the copy to how it is triggered and when you see what at what time and stuff like that. We're designing a flow, everything. And then once you got to the part where the notification will come, everybody was like, the player was like, oh yeah, so we'll get the notification and then that is it. And then we'll move on to this. I'm like, yo, no, So how do we trigger the notification? Like what we are not really thinking about what will go into this notification, how we will trigger the notification for the person to see. You dig? So that'd be one thing it's important to think about, because in that app, once you get a notification, you tap it. At that point, it wasn't taking you anywhere. So let's say you get a notification, let's say your food is being prepared or something. But once you tap the app, it just takes you to the home screen of the app. So now you have to find your way to view how you can track that order. And that because 90 work, the notification didn't really serve its purpose. I mean, about what I talk. So that's one thing people should keep in mind. Like notifications is not just there to like you send a notification, they see the thing in their drawer, and then that is this. Once they tap the notification, it's supposed to send them to what you exactly are talking about in the notification. You dig? So that's one thing people should always keep in mind.
Guess faster. Today, Jeff them some really do preach pan. Me junior pastors, me the mic, we just the listening. Last thing, Sam, if you want to touch on that, I think you were saying something about how this. I think we've even said that within the talk how these whole social media apps are laid out. Yeah, we spoke about it with the whole swiping thing and the endless scroll and this whole pagination you guys are talking about. So, is there anything I forgot? I've forgotten that we want to chip in. Senior pastor, guest pastor.
But who starts with this senior pastor?
My friend, accept your post. I guess there's nothing to add.
No, I had one thing to add. So, I mean, we've already spoken around it, but just to remind everybody who is designing for mobile, right? Because these social media apps do it very well. We've already talked about how these people make it frictionless, like these social apps make it very frictionless and effortless for people to interact with the app and use it so they can gain value and also the app can gain the data they need, right? And if you go through every app, it's very effortless. You scroll, if you like something, you double tap. You swipe, if you like something, you double tap. You swipe, double tap. If you want to send someone a message on Instagram, you swipe to the left. Yeah, on TikTok, I realized something they do very well. If you are looking at someone's video and you think like, oh, Charlie, their screen sense, you want to go to their profile and see more videos, just swipe to the left. It opens their profile. So very effortless. Even Instagram self, if you want to switch accounts, right? I noticed something. You can easily double tap on your profile, yeah, picture to switch. But you can also press and hold, and it will bring out the options if you have like multiple accounts, right? But if you want, you can easily double tap on it and it switches. So for anyone designing for mobile, these are the things you need to keep in mind for all your primary actions and maybe some of your secondary actions, right? The things you want the user to do, the things that are fundamental for your app to be successful. Use these things. Swipe, tap. The swipe and tap gestures. Those are the things you need. Any other thing, maybe you can think of other ways of doing it. Maybe hold and whatever. Don't let people be dragging things across the screen unless it's for security purposes. So for example, bolt food like this, right? If you are coming to place an order, you have to, I think, is it bolt or, yeah, I think it's bolt food. You have to drag the button to confirm it, right? And that's like one way of ensuring people don't place orders by mistake because if the money matter, you bab. So these are things you can look into, but just have those in mind.
On the point of, this might be like a question, on the point of the whole double tap swiping on TikTok, I think when you swipe, it takes you to the person's profile and all that. One question I usually ask, and I'll throw this to you, some people ask, how is the person going to know that they should swipe to view their profile, or something like the Instagram thing, where you double tap the profile and then it switches to the previous, right? How is the person going to know that, if I double tap here, it will switch to the profile, or if I long press or pull out the other profile section? Another thing you realize is, in as much as these gestures are there, they have the primary one, which is when you click on your username, it pulls the bottom sheet. And what I can't realize is some of these things are things that you learn when using the application, right? It has a learning phase. You realize that, you mistakenly tapped this, you can't realize, if I do this, I'll get this, right? But what do you think? How do you pass some of this information out there so that people know that if I do this, I'll get this? Because even the TikTok swiping thing, I think I did it by mistake and I noticed.
For these things, right? So if you look at it, there's always a much clearer way of doing the same action. So for Instagram, like if you want to search your profile and tap there, I think there's an arrow next to your name at the top, like this. Yeah. You can also, if you want to go to someone's profile, you can also tap the person's name. These are things that people already intuitively know or learn. I think it's the Jacob's law or something, right? Like they pick it up from other platforms and use it in your app. The other things of doing it are things that you tend to leave for people to discover. Because once you discover something, you feel like, you're the only one who knows it. So you get some magic trick where you go think near boys. Yeah, and it makes you feel good. Like, okay, you know this trick, you know how to do this. Because I remember once I discovered I can easily swipe when watching a TikTok video to go to the person's profile. I was like, hey, sorry, this is very solid. But because I used to go through the whole process of having to sometimes tap, and all that. It was some way. So sometimes you don't always have to I know some people the first thought that will come into their mind is to do a walkthrough, show them everything. It's not everything that you need to, because this is not essential to them gaining value from the app, right? So you sometimes have to let people discover things on themselves. It's part of the experience of the app. But for things that are essentially crucial, you should make it more if you need to show them how to do it, show them how to do it. But the things that are not necessarily like crucial for them to gain value from the app, allow them to discover it. It's part of the experience. They learn from it and then they feel good about themselves.
And that's why there's always a premium one, like I seen that people already know from other platforms. Nice one.
So, like, just to touch on what Sam was saying, right? For some of the actions to earn, or even maybe using a guide or something, I've forgotten the platform. I think it was a dating app or so. I was watching the documentary sometime back. But what they did is that they used they used the walkthrough, right, as a way to get you to create your first post or something. So then once you go through that guide, they'll be like, oh, maybe start from here, right? Click this, do this. So by the time you finish clicking everything, you've already put in effort, right? So it's like they've used that to get you to put in your first investment. And then like it keeps going on like that, like that. So sometimes to maybe even using the walkthrough might be like a great first step. But then again, so you just need to know how to use it and when and why to use it.
So I think it was related to what Sam said about the interaction thing, right? And sometimes context matters too, because if, let's say, it's a particular, you are launching a particular product that's already, you have several people like using that particular platform before, maybe a social media platform, definitely there are some interactions that people are used to, right? So definitely those interactions, they need walkthrough. You get it. But sometimes too, you have products that are also like kind of in a way new, not necessarily like make a talk relatively new. So in that case, you have to consider, we have like type of user groups when you are designing. So you have like um on top is the people that are really like call it experts, where they know what they are doing, they know their shortcut and like them be really invested in the particular like product. Then you have the um average people, where they are not really, they want to get their basic stuff like done. Then you get the newbies too, where them they don't really know anything. So for the newbies like this, walkthrough will help them because they're not shit. You get it. And you have where people that are okay, they familiarize themselves with the platform, so they know their way around certain platforms, although it's new. Those interactions then fee access some. Then you get the experts ones, where them be more into them shortcuts. So for instance, Figma. I'm sure when it comes to Figma, Reagan, for instance, you know plenty shortcuts like something. So somebody like they know they talk say you be normal user, like you be more like a power user sort of, where if they are doing something, if they are designing for a user like you, it be they know they consider some of these walkthroughs then, since you but that one they know say definitely you go find a way. And that was what Sam was saying, that some interactions like some interactions that maybe probably it will get the basic stuff done. Maybe the whole idea is, maybe if you, let's say it's a social media app, you want to post, like posting something no for be something we have to think about before I go know how I go post them. Like those interactions, it will be easy. Liking, maybe at the swipe go another content, like those kind of things, it should be easy to access. You have where we get them, the power users, where they then be focused on how them will feel, like then they won't know every aspect of the app. So sometimes I feel like if you don't consider some of these things, you mostly limit yourself to a particular user group, where it gets to a point where if people like me, I find it that why this long time you still no get shortcut give this, you still no get shortcut give. Eventually, if someone gets like creates a platform that has some of these things that can make my work really really like fast, I have shortcut, and definitely I will go there. But it doesn't mean that you have to also like focus your whole resources on those particular like user group. You just need to find a balance, and in finding a balance too, it doesn't mean that sometimes you can't get a balance necessarily, because you get a particular target market where you just want to focus on that particular target group. So you just go for them, and the rest is just, I don't want to say it, but more like an afterthought. If you get there, fine. But if you no get, you no go really affect your revenue or your business. So yeah, that's the little I get talk on that.
This was a very interesting episode. I mean, from experience to tying them to, UX, sorry, tying it to UX design and some blasting here and there, and Michael giving us his heartfelt messages and all that. I think the last point, they said everything. They said everything about social media, but then back to the beginning of the episode when we're talking about this whole social media break and all that. One thing Jeffrey said, which was very, very important, is if you start, don't lie to yourself and say you're going to do the application. You just deceive yourself. Just take little steps. Maybe restrict yourself to 2 hours, 3 hours, an hour, 30 minutes, and then maybe eventually you'll be able to do 15 minutes of social media a day, like Samuel. I think that'll be it for this episode. Follow us on Instagram at the Design Junkies. The Design THEDSGN Junkies. You know how to spell Junkies. And follow. When you go to our Instagram, you'll see our 4 different accounts there. But yes, follow Jeffrey at JDG Henson. Follow Samuel, the one who created the podcast, Instagram at the Design Sam. So it's the same spelling. Guest pastor. Then follow Michael at _IV. Then you follow me at Regan.design. Just a minute, some pen a what design we're doing. And then for design World Cup. Alright, guys. Thank you for listening. We'll catch you in the next one.